Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We are quickly approaching the 2025 NFL Draft, which for me is one of my favorite times of the year, one of my favorite events on the sports calendar each year, as we get to see some of the top names in college football that we've been watching for the last few months take that next step to go to the NFL, hopefully landing on your team. And so for the next couple of weeks, guys, we're going to be bringing you a lot of NFL draft coverage, analyzing the teams, analyzing the players, all the way up until the draft starts next Thursday. And today, I wanted to start breaking down draft needs for every team. And we're going to be doing this by divisions over the next couple days. And today, we're going to start with the AFC North and the South. We're going to do both. And we'll start over in the South because one of their teams holds the number one pick in the draft. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock. They've been on the clock for months now, trying to figure out who they're going to take with that number one overall pick. And so again, we're going to do this for every team across the league today, these two divisions. Starting with the Titans, it's pretty clear they need a quarterback. Their biggest draft need is a quarterback. Some teams, it's going to be just as easy as that. Some teams, maybe a little bit more complicated. But we all expect the Titans to take Cam Ward out of Miami. The Will Levis, experiment didn't really work with the Titans. They desperately need a leader. They need a competent quarterback under center, and Cam Ward appears to be that guy, the top-rated quarterback, and would be for me as well, entering the draft. And what's relatively a weak quarterback class, the Titans should end up selecting him. He's got a solid offensive line around him, and the Titans can hopefully go out in later rounds and get some extra talent and weapons for him to utilize. But Cam Ward seems to be the guy that's going to go number one, and is the biggest need for the Titans. Staying in the South, we're going to go division by division here. The Jaguars are number 5, so they have a top 10 pick as well. And this is an interesting spot for the Jags because what they do, it's obviously going to be decided greatly by what happens to the 4 picks in front of them. Do the Jaguars go best available? Do they go whoever's left, whoever the best available guy is at that point? Is that who the Jaguars take? You can make the argument that they need some more weapons. So maybe it's not best available. You can make the argument they need to get some guys surrounding Trevor Lawrence. Liam Cohen comes in as the new head coach. Duval down with the Jaguars, that viral moment there. He's an offensive mind. He's going to want to have an electric offense. So Lawrence, I think, can be the guy. He's been the guy in Jacksonville for a while, but has had an up-and-down career. He needs some more help. And they added some guys last year. They've got some decent wide receivers. So is this a spot where if Travis Hunter's still there at number 5 or Tedero McMillan's there at number 5, do the Jaguars go and take him? Or do they say, okay, hey, maybe we're gonna test our luck with the offense that we have right now, maybe bulk up on the defensive side of the ball, a guy named Mason Graham. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Jacksonville does. It's one of those weird, complicated situations where they have some needs on both sides of the ball, but none that's super glaring. Maybe it's going to be what pick is going to be best to help their football team overall, regardless of who it may be. Number 14, that's the Colts. They come in with the 14th pick in the draft, staying in the South. This feels pretty confident that it's going to be a tight end pick. If they can get their hands on Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland, and my number 1 tight end would be Tyler Warren out of Penn State, the Colts are going to go there, right? Indianapolis, look, they had the least amount of tight end receptions in the league last year. They really didn't have a tight end last year. They need some help there. And I don't know if an extra weapon is going to help them out too much with Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones at quarterback. I think both are pretty bad. Might not help them that much in the long run. But regardless, you need a young tight end to come in there and not just be a potential pass catcher, but a potential blocker as well. Both Loveland and Warren can do that. So to me, this feels like a no-brainer pick for the Colts. Tight end, take them. One of those guys should still be on the board at 14. I can't expect 2 tight ends to go in the top 13 picks. But if they really want Warren, the Colts might need to trade up a little bit because the Jets, we'll talk about them later, the Jets could have their eyes on him as well. And then rounding out the AFC South, the Texans. Who do they need? Probably need some guys up front on the offensive line. If you watch them throughout the season, if you watch them in the playoffs, C.J. Stroud was getting beat up time and time again. I mean, look at that game last year against the Chiefs in the divisional round. He was sacked 8 times. 8 times in the divisional round against the Chiefs. C.J. Stroud was sacked 52 times on the year in 2024. So yes, they did add some key pieces on the offensive line through free agency. What's one more going to hurt? Get some extra depth, get some extra talent to protect your franchise quarterback. That's what you need. So, some of the best offensive linemen will probably be off the board at this point, but you still could go for a guy like Kelvin Banks, maybe. I know we got guys that are much more ahead that are going to get taken. Banks could fall down. He's still a very elite talent that would significantly help this Texans program. So if they don't go offensive line, and I think they should, but if they don't, maybe get C.J. Stroud some more weapons, add some wide receiver help. Travis Hunter's going to be gone, Tenero McMillan's going to be gone, but Matthew Golden could still be around, another in-state product. Get him to Houston because as we saw, Stephon Diggs now off to the Patriots. The Texans were dealt a handful of injuries at the wide receiver position last year. If that happens again, they're not going to have much depth or talent there. Might as well get some young talent, some speedy wide receivers to help out your team. So offensive line or wide receiver, I would say for the Texans here in a few weeks. Over in the North, let's go to the North. We want to go in order here. The Browns have the number 2 pick. So Titans at number 1, Browns at number 2. This is an interesting thing, and ironically, the Browns have maybe the most important pick in the draft in the sense of how the rest of it's going to go. Because choosing to go with Joe Flacco at quarterback, which was announced just, last week, maybe showed that they're not going to go quarterback at number 2. Again, this is a pretty weak quarterback class. Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, then who else, right? Jackson Dart, Tyler Shugg, Jalen Milroe. None of those guys, to me, scream franchise quarterbacks. So the fact that the Browns said, you know what, we're going to ride with Joe Flacco this year, maybe shows they're going to hold off and looking for a franchise quarterback until next year. Maybe the class is a little bit better. So what they do is going to be interesting. Do they go Travis Hunter? Do they get Travis Hunter and give Flacco a weapon? And obviously whoever their future quarterback, because Flacco's not the long-term answer, their future quarterback and elite talent. Do they go Abdul Carter, the defensive end out of Penn State, one of the best defensive players in this draft? Do they go with him and put him opposite of Myles Garrett? Think about how scary that would be up front on the defensive line. So do they still go quarterback? Do they say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and draft Shedeur Sanders because more than likely Cam Ward's going number 1. We'll let him learn behind Flacco, and he's going to be our franchise guy. So the Browns could go multiple directions here. They could go quarterback. They could go wide receiver. They could go best available, which at this point would be Abdul Carter. Whatever they decide to do is going to greatly impact what the Giants do at 3, what the Patriots do at 4, what the Jags do at 5, and going all the way down. It's going to send shockwaves to the rest of the draft. It's going to happen on pick 2. So again, if I'm the Browns, I'm not drafting Sanders. I'm holding out for a better quarterback next year. I'm probably going Abdul Carter here. Defense wins championships. Myles Garrett wanted out, got a lot of money, going to stay put. Keep him happy. Put Abdul Carter opposite of him. Could be one of the best duos in the league over the next few years. That's what I would do. The Bengals at number 17 in the North, we know what they can do on offense. And they made that commitment by giving massive contracts to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Joe Burrow, obviously the franchise guy. So you've got one of the best quarterbacks in the league, 2 elite wide receivers at your disposal. Sure, you could add one more guy there if you wanted to, but I think we all agree that they desperately need help either on the offensive line or on defense. Joe Burrow, for many years now, has been running for his life. The line has not done that great of a job in protecting him and keeping him healthy. So continue to bulk up there. Or, again, the Bengals' defense has not been good at all. We don't know what's going to happen with Trey Hendrickson going forward. If he ends up departing, whether in a trade or is it last year, whatever it happens, getting some extra depth on the defensive line could be massive for the Bengals, and they could probably get some decent guys there at number 17 without having to trade up at all. And if they do, maybe not trading up too much or giving up too much. So if I'm Bengals, I'm drafting defense. Your offense can compete with anybody, but you need the defense to be able to stop people, especially like your biggest competitors in the AFC, such as the Chiefs and the Bills. Number 21 in the North, it's the Steelers. And this is a very bad spot for Pittsburgh because they've kind of let Aaron Rodgers dictate what they're going to do. Aaron Rodgers still hasn't committed. A lot of people thought he was going to go to Pittsburgh and would give them a competent quarterback, maybe the best quarterback they've seen since Ben Roethlisberger, maybe making their offense somewhat decent for once, especially after the addition of DK Metcalf. You don't bring in a guy like DK Metcalf without having a competent quarterback to throw to him, right? At least if you do that, you're not going to keep him happy if you don't have a competent quarterback to get in the ball. So they've got DK Metcalf there. You've got one of the best receivers in this division right now at your disposal. Who's going to get in the ball? It could still be Aaron Rodgers, but I have a feeling he's not going to make a decision before draft day. So the Steelers have to decide, do we want to go quarterback? Do we want to draft a young quarterback here? Or do we hold off, maybe add some more weapons and see whoever else can get in the ball? Because Justin Fields is gone. Russell Wilson is gone. The 2 quarterbacks there from last year are now gone out of Pittsburgh. They need somebody to get him the ball. Again, could be Aaron Rodgers or it could be a young quarterback. Probably not Shedeur Sanders, because I expect him to be taken before this. Maybe you look at a guy like Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. Maybe you look at a guy like Tyler Shugg out of Louisville. Those would be my top 2 picks. I don't think they'd go out on Quinn Ewers or Jalen Milroe or Will Howard. I think Dart, Shugg would be the better 2 options. Dart, I'm leaning more towards. That would be a good fit for Pittsburgh if they need it. They desperately need a quarterback. Even if Rodgers did commit tomorrow, they're going to need a quarterback because of his age. So the Steelers are in a very tough spot. The offense has struggled mightily for years now, and they've got to continue to address that side of the ball and eventually find their franchise guy. And then finally, the Ravens have the 27th pick in the first round, and this is a team that sadly still can't get over the hump, right? They've been to the AFC Championship, fallen short. They've been to the divisional round plenty, continuously fallen short. Still have not been to a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson, and they've got talent. You've got Lamar Jackson, you've got Derrick Henry. The talent is there, but the defense still needs help. This was one of the worst passing defenses in the league last year, the second worst passing defense in the league last year. They were also 29th in the league in their pass rush win rate. So they weren't good at pressuring the quarterback. They weren't good at stopping the pass because they allowed the quarterbacks to have all day in the pocket to find their guys. So if you're the Ravens, you're addressing the defensive side of the ball. To me, I'm going in the secondary for sure. I think they can find a way to bulk up the defensive line later on. But to me, if I'm the Ravens, you're addressing the defense, and I'm more so addressing the secondary. That's what I'm doing if I'm Harbaugh and Baltimore. So, 8 teams down. Plenty more to go, 24 more to go to be exact. We've got a lot more divisions coming your way over the next few days, but those to me are the biggest needs for every team, the AFC North and the AFC South. Leave your comments down below. Again, the draft's going to be here before we know it. We're going to have coverage for you over these next couple of weeks, breaking down every single team and a lot of the top talent as well. So stay tuned. All the more reason to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com. That it has our expert picks. It has our newsletters. You do not want to miss out on the coverage that we're going to have coming to you guys all year long, because here at the Gridiron Expert, we are talking college football with you 24/7, 365, and we want you to become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.